Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is Vishal and you're watching the weekly sectoral analysis. Well, in the previous weekend, initially it seemed in the early couple of days, it seemed that we are trying to consolidate the gains which we had over the course of last few weeks. And then we had slight drop, a little bit of consolidation near the support. But suddenly after the announcement of tariffs by the American president, we could see the sell-off happening across the board, across global indices. Even the dollar index was not spared. It broke down very badly and it recovered, I think, in the last trading session. So what impact does it have on Indian equity markets, especially on the Nifty? Let us discuss about that in today's video. Now, starting with the monthly time frame chart, we can clearly see that the trend is flat. We had a pretty nice bounce back in the last month, but in this month we can see some sort of sell-off which is starting. So nothing much is visible as of now in the monthly time frame charts. We'll have to take the cues from weekly chart. First thing is evident that the last week's candle was a gravestone doji, which is not a bullish candle. It is certainly a bearish candle, which is coming up at a juncture when Nifty spot was within a resistance band from 23,416 to 24,008. And this week we have a big red candle. So generally a big red candle appearing after a gravestone doji is not a good thing. Okay. It is certainly not good for the bulls. Going ahead in the daily time frame charts, first thing what is visible is we had a nice steep rally. Small dip was okay. We were trying to consolidate and even a trend line breakout was, looking pretty good on the charts when we have such a nice momentum. Even RSI was at 70. So I think things were all set probably for consolidation, and after consolidation, if we could pick up the momentum, then probably markets would have gone up. But when such a things happen, like announcement of tariffs, which is unprecedented, unthought of, things always take a different turn. And this time we had a steep sell-off. Nifty corrected by more than 1%, close to 1.5%, and we can see a big red candle over here. Now this big red candle is coming up at a juncture where we have this small gap. We also have the 50% retracement and this trend line. So yes, we do have some sort of support at this 50% retracement, which is 22,900. Plus we have this gap and this trend line support. Now how price reacts over here is something which will be evident in the next week, especially in the first 2 to 3 trading sessions will be very, very important, because are we going to continue fall very, very fast the way we did on Friday, or is going to be a small gradual correction, or are we going to bounce back? There are 3 different possibilities which can happen. So rather than getting afraid from the tariffs, rather than looking at the screen and saying, oh no, that we are at 345 points fall, what's going to happen on Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday is also the same. Rather than that, I think we should be waiting very patiently and understanding what can happen in the markets only when we have some reaction and confirmation by the price. But yes, one thing is evident for sure, that by looking at the weekly time frame charts, if we start trading below 22,750 or 22,800, sustain below that, then things are not looking certainly good. Obviously, how trend line will work, how prices will react to the support band is a different thing, but just a small cue from my side that trading below this weekly low, or probably this low, or maybe even the trend line, things are certainly not looking good as of now. But obviously the next 2 to 3 trading sessions will be very, very important. Going ahead with Bank Nifty, see, Bank Nifty is a very different horse right now. It is extremely strong. So far, so good, I should say. What's going to happen in the next week, it's something else. But so far, looking at monthly time frame charts, things are okay. Looking at weekly time frame chart, things are quite okay, I think, after a stupendous pullback rally. We are trying to consolidate last 2 weeks where within the same zone, even the daily time frame charts are within a zone. So after a rally, we are just trying to consolidate the gains which we had in the last few weeks. So I guess same sort of trend could continue the next week. We could have some consolidations, which is important to digest this gains which we had last week. Private banking. Private banking is much stronger in comparison to the PSU banking chart over here. So private banking chart, I should say, we do have this trend line breakout, which is visible over here, and we have a strong uptrend. Prices have surpassed its previous highs. It's looking good, but I could say that after such a nice rally, some sort of consolidation, cool off is important if we want to see a follow through rally on the upside. Okay. So I think a consolidation probably in the private banking sector is not something which is unthought of. PSU banks. Now PSU banks is slightly different in comparison to the private banking sector. In the PSU banking sector, I should say we have been able to bounce back from close to this particular long-term support in the monthly time frame chart. Good sign. In the weekly time frame chart, we have a decent bounce back, but the last two candles have not been very, very attractive in consideration if you are a bull. And again, if you have a look at the daily time frame chart, you can see one thing very, very clearly. If I convert this chart to a line chart, you will see that we do have a higher low and a higher high, sorry, and a lower high in this particular RSI and the price connection. Although this negative divergence is not very strong, but we cannot neglect it because the reason is this particular divergence has come up at a juncture when the price is trading besides or nearby important price cluster. So yes, some sort of profit booking, some sort of hesitance by the price is visible, and the price is not able to surpass this zone of 6480 or 6500. I think what happens in the next week will be important. And on the lower side, immediate support in the PSU banking pack could be at 6060 and 6076 or 75. Energy pack. Okay. Energy pack, the way it has been looking at the monthly time frame chart, the way it has been bouncing back was very, very attractive. The way prices have bounced back even in the weekly time frame charts, because it has been a high momentum bounce back. Along with this high momentum bounce back, we also had this relationship between the RSI and the price, because we had a positive divergence, okay, which is called PCD. And after this particular pullback or rally, whatever you want to say it, there was a decent possibility that this pullback could have continued because there was not much resistance visible in this zone. Yes, there was. It is not that there was no resistance at all, but that particular resistance in the weekly time frame chart was not that strong. But as I say that when such a uninformed, unprecedented sort of political or global announcement happens, a sell-off happens at a very fast pace. Immediate support, I should say, is at 31,540 or 31,705. Once we start trading below Friday's low, okay, I think the weakness could increase, but the immediate support is at 31,540 to 31,705. So bullish traders should be slightly careful. Auto pack. Think it's not getting clicked. Just give me a second. Oh, there is some problem. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, now it's visible. I'm sorry for the disturbance. There was some problem from the software. Okay. So now looking at the auto pack, I should say the pullback was pretty nice. Early on, there was a trend line breakout over here. Okay. And looking at the daily time frame charts, I think the way it pulled back was pretty nice. What happened over here in the daily time frame chart was the auto pack took resistance from this particular zone, got a sell-off starting, and the price continues on the downside. Overall, as of now, it looks weak. Looking at the consumption pack, as of now, the initial pullback has been okay. Even the weekly time frame chart looks fine. As of now, we are consolidating in the daily time frame charts. The immediate support is between 10,570 to 10,680. If we start trading below this 10,575, 570 area, then I think it could create problems for this particular sector. Finance pack. Finance pack looks much stronger. You can see over here a big green candle visible in the previous month. Even the weekly time frame chart looks okay. In the daily time frame charts, yes, we have been extremely overstretched and overbought. So some sort of consolidation was not unthought of, and the consolidation can continue even in the next few days or next entire week as well. Going ahead in the FMCG pack, the pullback continues in the weekly time frame charts. Surprisingly, for the week, we have not been able to close in a negative candle. Daily charts are looking okay. They're not that great. I think the price is afraid that we are inching towards a resistance band which is within 55,606 to 54,678. I think how price reacts in this zone, does it surpass, does it start coming back down? I think that is what will be interesting to see in the next week. Infra. Okay. Once again, seems there is some sort of problem from the trading view. Okay. So the charts are getting loaded once again. Okay. So we are back and the charts are visible. Now going ahead, we can see that the initial pullback was okay. The pullback in the weekly time frame chart has also been okay. Sorry, this is the consumption pack. We have to look at the infra pack. Okay. So looking at the infra pack, we can see the initial pullback is visible over here. The weekly time frame charts were looking amazing. Now after the initial pullback, the first, second pullback, these two candles are not certainly good. We have a doji sort of a candle, looking like a long-legged doji, and we have a negative candle even over here. So I think once we start trading below Friday's low, problems could increase for this particular sector. And the immediate support comes at 79.49 and 8,072. Okay, so this is the immediate support band for this particular sector. Going ahead in the IT pack, one thing which is very, very nicely visible to us is we have a trend line breakdown. Initially, it looked that we could pull back very nicely from this particular trend line, but market has its own mind, as I always say, and we have gone through a big long-term trend line breakdown, which is holding on since July 2020, and we have been also able to close below this particular support. Now, this particular sell-off is continuing. It's oversold. We have also broken this particular Fibonacci extension on the downside, which was at 33,865. Overall, it's not looking good. in this sector. Immediate support will be visible at 32,528 for the IT pack. Okay, metal pack was very surprising because the way metal pack had bounced back, you can see there is a trend line support also which is visible over here. 1, 2, and this is the third and the fourth time when we bounced back. So the way it bounced back was extremely impressive. Even this consolidation breakout was visible. You can see that consolidation breakout or a range breakout, whatever you call, was visible. And this entire time when the metal pack was consolidating, all other sectors were correcting. So initially, yes, you can say that when the entire market was rallying, the metal sector started falling. But when in the starting of 2025, when entire market, all other sectors started correcting, metal sector started consolidating, which was a good sign at that point of time. Then it gave a breakout, it retraced somewhere over here, needed consolidation, but rather than a consolidation, it has been able to give a complete sell-off in one single day. As of now, I would wait for any sort of views to share about this particular sector because in the long-term chart, we are still at a support, but the daily chart is not looking good. So I think we should wait for a while and then, take some view from the daily and the weekly time frame charts. Pharma pack. Pharma pack, I should say that pullback was nice initially, suddenly a sell-off, and the way the sell-off has happened. See, a gradual sell-off is a different thing, but the pullback, if you must have seen the pharma pack on Thursday and Friday, immediately after the Wednesday's pullback, there was a very nice gap up happening in the pharma pack and then suddenly a sell-off. And then after a sell-off on Friday, it also pulls itself back from the lows. So I think it's a range-bound volatility situation, and generally this sort of volatility in the market is not advisable to trade because we need a directional volatility to trade, and it makes sense to stay away from the pharma pack as of now, looking at the last 2 days volatility. Okay, going ahead with the PSE sector. PSE sector also, I should say, initial pullback looking nice, sudden sell-off which is happening. So if we start trading below this particular low of 89.34, certainly not good for the PSE stocks. Realty pack. Realty pack also looks weak, and we are near important supports over here. But if we start trading below the Friday's low, then yes, some sort of weakness could be visible in this sector. Midcaps initial pullback was with extreme high momentum, and it also came on the back of this very good support. Now, if the midcap wanted to go up, it needed to consolidate, but the way it has broken down this range is not good. If we start trading below the Friday session, certainly not good for the mid-cap sector. Now, summing it up all, if I would say that the way markets are coming down right now, as I said, whichever sector is showing you a bullish view on the charts, considering daily and the weekly charts, yes, if you start trading below the previous week's low in few of the sectors which I mentioned, it's not good for the market. But the question is, if we come down, is it going to be a fast sell-off or a high volatility sell-off? I think it could be. I'm not very sure of, because even I'm a human being. I'm not a god. But I can say that some sort of volatility sort of downtrend could establish itself in the market in the next few weeks. So be careful, trade less, and trade wisely. Thank you.